In this video, we're going to continue with the camper build. We're starting the side walls of the camper. The original intent was to make them out of a foam plywood composite. However, the decision was made for us. They didn't have the 1-inch foam panels that I wanted. So we went with plywood. So what I decided to go is with this waffle board. My understanding is that even though the stuff is cheaper, it's actually quite a bit stronger than plywood because of the total random direction of the grain here. So, and it was $18 a sheet. And then we bought these wall coverings. They're for like bathroom walls. And we'll be giving it the outside texture with this. It doesn't really show here on the camera too well, but it's got some texture and it's nice and shiny. So using contact cement, we'll glue that, except for the panel that goes right on the bottom of the trailer, and that's going to be poor man's fiberglass because we don't really care if it gets dirty or how easy it is to clean or specifically how shiny it is. So $41 plus the contact cement was another $50. Poor man's fiberglass is just going to have to do that. So this side of the plywood is going to be facing the road. So I'm going to do this in poor man's fiberglass. And in preparation, I bought this painter's tarp. Some people say you can't use painter's tarp, it gives bad results. I'm not quite sure why they would say that. I did my stand-up paddleboard and painter's tarp, worked out just fine. So, but anyway, I went ahead and cut out the stitching on the seam, which gives me an extra 2 inches on either edge. So, and then also, instead of having a big thick seam, then the cloth goes all the way to the edge. So that's it's a little kind of time consuming and frustrating, I guess, a little bit, but I think it's just, it's going to be worth the time. So anyway, I will do half of this at a time. I'll do this half first, fold the cloth back, put down some, I'm actually going to be using roof coating, so primarily because I got a bunch. So, and then I'll fold back the other half and then do that. So we will take a look at it after I've got some of it done. So we have our panel complete. We ended up painting the plywood, then painting the cloth, thinning down the stuff with a little bit of water in a spray bottle, and setting it down, and then painting the top. So, I think we've got good coverage here. This stuff is UV curable, so we've got a bit of a gray day today, but I guess all we can do now is wait and see how it worked. I got the poor man's fiberglass done on this part, and we're going to go ahead and stick that on the trailer. So getting this board in here is a bit of a trick, and I want a bead of caulk on the bottom. So what we've done is we've went ahead and scrolled that in there, and I've just kind of got it clamped up to the intermediate levels. So I got a bead of caulk in there, and then we'll drop it down. So I don't want this caulking to set up before I get this thing fastened down. So we went ahead and put some bricks on it to kind of hold the edges of the board down. And since the bottom of the trailer is blind, what I'm doing is I'm just drilling and tapping and putting a machine screw, one every about 2 feet or so. So we'll make it all the way around, and then we'll get some of that outdoor roof sealant on here to seal this board up. So I guess this OSB isn't exactly super waterproof, but with this roof sealant on there, I think it'll be good enough. So I've got this nice fiberglass mat on here. It's on with contact cement, and we've got 2 glued down, and we're kind of dancing around on the last one, try to get that fixed down as well. So I got my bottom boards cut. I'm keeping good material to the good material so as not to damage it too much. And then we'll go ahead and start sticking that these pieces on the trailer. So we had a pretty good rain shower last night, and between whatever the water resistance of the wood is and that elastomeric sealer, it doesn't look like it's had any effect on this wood. So I went ahead and painted the edges of the side panels so that as they go into the trailer, they'll be protected. So as I'm getting ready to fit my side panels, I've noticed that there's two errors with the way I built the frame. The first one is that I welded these pieces on here. The back part is supposed to be the galley, and then the front part is the sleeping area. And the reason that's an error is that really that piece needs to be attached to the plywood after it's already on. Right now, it's an L bracket, and I could certainly put a piece inside the smaller section, but if I were to put a piece in the front side, then there would be an unsupported gap here. And I tried. There's nowhere else in the trailer that has that, and I've tried to avoid that. So my two options are to either put a T-channel in there, or just take this off and put that, attach that bracket to the plywood on the inside. And I'm going to go with the second option. I'm just going to attach it to the inside. So, and that gives me a little bit more flexibility also. If it turns out that I need the galley to be a little bit bigger or smaller, depending on after we try it out the first time, then I still have that option. If I were to put the T-channel in there now, then then I'm kind of locked in. And the second error is that I have this T-channel, at the intermediate level going all the way around. And for the front and the two sides, that's correct. For the back, that's not going to work out. The reason is there's going to be a door in the back, and it's going to be the entire back end, and then we'll lift the door up, and then we'll have an awning to be under while we're cooking and that type of thing. So, but if that's the case, then this is going to be in the way. Also, with it being a T-channel, the bottom section of it reduces the height effectively of the parts we can put in there. So that's going to be a bit of a problem as well. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and remove this piece of T-channel and put an L channel, and it'll actually be, inboard quite a bit. So, well, quite a bit, at least an inch and a half or so. So I've got my side panels removed and added the L bracket offset from the back a little bit. So we're ready to get back to installing the side panels. So I've got my holes pre-drilled and a bead of caulk here. All I need to do is put the panel up and get some screws in there. So I'm getting ready to stick in the side panels, the large side panels, and these are going to be a little bit more challenging. First of all, I need to cut off the notch in the corner for this notch here. And then, with the way that I welded this bed frame, probably can't see it too well in the video here, but I need to obviously cut some of this out. I need to be able to kind of rotate that into position. So somehow or another, I need to cut out a little notch out of there. And then on the opposite, so this is on the bottom, that was on the top, then I'm going to need to cut a notch out of here as well. So, and then on top of all that, these panels are really pretty heavy. So we'll see if I can even do this by myself. Didn't want to cut as much steel away as I needed to get clearance to tip this piece up. So I just went ahead and cut a little notch in the board. I might have to make that a bit wider though. So I got the panel fitting in there. And in all honesty, that went a lot better than I was expecting it would. I was worried that that one's going to be kind of difficult. So I need to pull it back out so I can prep the edges, and then we'll stick it in there and screw it in. By the way, I am sealing these panels to the frame with a bead of silicone caulk. So just kind of keep everything sealed up. So I have the sides on, and then I'll put the roof on, and then it's time to make the doors. I don't have a table saw and I guess you really don't need it. I just have these pieces of aluminum for like a porch structure, just scrap aluminum, but they're flat and reasonably straight, at least on one edge. I just make two measurements and draw a straight line and cut it with my circular saw. Certainly close enough. So I suppose it's a little late to be worried about this now, but I was just kind of wondering how waterproof this wood was. I took this little piece of scrap, and it's been kind of floating in water for 4 days now. So the thing that surprised me is the first thing that came off was the fiberglass just kind of fell off. So I expected that to stay on and be on there for forever and a day. But no, that came off first, and the wood is definitely swelling and delaminating a bit and things like that. So it does look like the roof sealer is helping. It's kind of hard to tell for sure, but it is helping. And even for as swollen as this wood is, it's still reasonably structurally sound. So I don't expect that would ever have standing water in it, leave alone have it standing for 4 days. So we'll probably be okay. Would have been nice, uh, when I did the videos on some of the boats that I made and the paddle boards and so forth. That stuff just floated in the pool for weeks, and there was no sign of any problem whatsoever. So this is nowhere near that good, but it's good to know. So I guess after big rainstorms and stuff, I'll have to check the trailer to make sure there's not standing water in it. So I wasn't quite sure how I was going to get that plywood up and hold it up on the trailer. So I guess there's the answer. Put the trailer up on its end, put it on a blanket so we wouldn't scratch it all up. So, that way I can kind of work with this plywood not up in the air. Well, the roof is attached, and I didn't die in the experience, so I guess it worked out. So I've got the sides, the roof, and the floor of the camper overall complete. I'm going to glue these wires up under the lip of this T-bar here so that they'll be out of the way and unlikely to get damaged. And I've got the front and the back of the roof actually clamped on because we're going to need a hinge there to hold the door. There's going to be a door in the front and the back. So they're just going to be held up with clamps until we're done with the door. So I got a little bit of trimming to do. The RTV is a little bit sloppy. We didn't get like a really nice squeeze out. So I go ahead and trim that with a razor blade, and then redo the caulk. It's really for decorative purposes at this point more than anything, because I do have a nice bead all the way around. It's just that just doesn't look so nice right now. So we started the project with the idea that we're going to make a camper for $1,000. We're not looking for a complete camper. I was really thinking just the shell. We're going to stick a mattress in there and try to do some camping, just plan forth to start with. But where do we stand? I spent at Home Depot $350 for the plywood and the fiberglass shell, and also the compact cement. I spent another $105 at Home Depot for some more of the elastomeric coating and some more RTV. I got $530 at Harbor Freight for the original trailer, $60 at a trailer place for the door handles, and another $20 at Home Depot for some more RTV. Other than another piece of plywood so that I can have a floor intermediate, I believe that I have all my materials. So we're at $1,065 right now. Looks like we'll be around $1,100 for everything. And then we'll need to put a mattress in there, ventilation, whatever we're going to do as far as air conditioning and ventilation, that type of thing. So we'll be a little bit more, but not too bad actually, and for a decent looking camper. So, of course, I had a lot of stuff on hand, all my machine screws I had on hand, the bed frame and the garage door railing. I got that for free just by scrapping, getting that from people, scrapping that stuff out. So, and I'm not including welding rod and welding gas. So, but either way, still pretty low buck, and I think it looks pretty nice. So in the next video, we'll get started with the doors. Thanks for watching my video. Have a great day.